Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. First motion by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. We have one addition. Item 10A, bylaw 04223, or 2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to set the 2023 tax levy, our first reading. Questions or comments regarding that? Can I call for the question then? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Thank you. And then moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Sobring. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as amended. Assuming that all that also is carried. Thank you. And then a motion by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, and those are the meeting of our last council meeting on April 17th, 2023. Questions or comments regarding that? Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Thank you. And moved by Councillor Sobring, who's on a hot streak today, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be resolved that council now adjourns to hear the public hearing as scheduled. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And here as we move into the public hearing for the 2023 financial plan, council will now commence to hear representations from the City of Dauphin and any other persons who wish to make representation for this scheduled public hearing. Anyone who has not yet registered but wishes to make a presentation for the public hearing needs to register or must register with our executive assistant. We'll now proceed with the public hearing for the 2023 financial plan for the City of Dauphin. I'd just like to start by thanking council for the delivery of the first budget of the term. We had significant thoughts and discussions and purpose went into it, and while respecting the project and processes that were already started by former councils. So thanks to you, council, and thanks to staff for helping us prepare this budget. Due to the unprecedented inflationary post-pandemic costs and the cost of items we need to operate as a municipality, we have seen dramatic increases in the cost to operate. Over the last 10 or so years, we've tried as a council to maximize our revenues, to find grants, to streamline operations, and to reduce costs to keep our taxes from increasing. And I want to share credit and give credit to past councils and staff to compliment them on fulfilling that mandate. However, as we're all well aware, it became apparent very early in the 2023 deliberation process that we could no longer provide the same level of service without needing to raise some taxes. So therefore, for 2023, there will be a 6.3% municipal tax increase or a 3.3% increase in the mill rate in order to continue to provide a consistent, if not better, level of service to our residents. So those were some decisions and discussions that we've had to get to this particular point. And I think that we've balanced both a need for generating revenues to support our operations and also to hold the line as best we can on, I'll call it frivolous or any spending that is not as absolutely necessary for us as a community. So I'd like to turn it over now to City Manager Charlotte Griffiths to give us a more detailed outline of our 2023 budget.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you've said, this is a presentation for the 2023 financial plan. And thanks to council for the direction this year, and thanks to administration for the work to put the budget together. To follow the rules of the public hearings under the Municipal Act, this public hearing is open to the public and has been advertised as such. So the Municipal Act requires municipalities in the province of Manitoba to hold a public hearing prior to the financial plan. And the purpose is for council to share the city's 2023 financial plan with the public, both the general fund and the utility fund. And I am presenting on behalf of council. So this year, as the mayor just indicated, there will be a 6.3% increase in taxes. So since 2012, taxes decreased 5% in each years of 2012, 2013, and 2014. And then in 2019, it was increased by 0.5 of a mil, or just under 5%, to provide for a 15th RCMP officer. Otherwise, since 2011, taxation collection has remained the same. We anticipate a continued level of spending on municipal infrastructure, which includes roads, sidewalks, and water distribution. We do have a large drainage project that will facilitate the Main Street South Twinning and Service Road project. And then in terms of recreation, we're looking at additional active transportation routes, vehicle equipment upgrades, a toddler playground at Vermilion Park, and Vermilion Park walking trail lighting, and as well a new pumper truck for the fire department. So the budget has two components. One is the general fund and one is the utility fund. And both of those are broken into both revenue and expenditures. So things that are in the general fund include public works, recreation, protective services, economic development, tourism, and administration. And in the utility fund, that includes water and wastewater. So the next few slides, I'm just going to walk through some explanation of revenue streams. So the general fund has 4 revenue streams. That's provincial school tax, or what they call education support levy, local school tax, and for us that is Mountain View School Division, municipal tax, which goes to the city of Dauphin, and then other revenues like grants, user fees, and fines. So the first one, the provincial school tax, that is, or the education support levy. So residential properties are not levied this. That's just for commercial properties. And it's a little bit lower than 2022, and it is set at 8.14 mils. Something to note, the city collects the provincial school tax on behalf of the province. The city then passes that amount collected onto the province. The city has no control over the amount levied, and this tax only pertains again to commercial property. So the second revenue stream is the local school tax. And as I said, that's for Mountain View School Division. So the mill rate for that in 2023 is 12.870 mils, which is lower than last year, and that raises $4.4 million. Similarly to the previous school tax, the city collects the local school tax on behalf of Mountain View School Division. The city then passes that amount collected onto the school division, and the city has no control over the amount levied. The city does not keep any of those 2 school taxes. The province of Manitoba is making changes, or has, I think this will be the 3rd year of making changes to school taxation. For properties that are principal residences, education tax paid on the tax bill will increase due to the partial removal of the education property tax credit. Just like in 21 and 22, the province will issue rebate checks in the mail. Additional information can be found by inquiring with the province on their general inquiry phone line. The third revenue stream is a municipal tax, and that is what goes to the city of Dauphin. So this year, the mill rate is 18.937, and that rate will raise $6,827,126. And as the mayor indicated, it's 3.6% higher than what was raised in 2022. And the last revenue stream is other revenue. This year that totals just about 6.5 million. And some of the highlights of what that is taxes added, which are new properties with higher assessment this in 2023. Business licenses, provincial municipal operating grant, $1.008 million. And this is a little bit exciting because that was the first increase since 2016. Provincial safety grant, $939,000. That goes toward public safety and RCMP. That has been the same for many years. We've also got federal grants, provincial grants, grants in lieu, and our accommodation tax. This slide here, which the public may or may not see, does talk about the history of the residential mill rate, and specifically municipal-wise. The total mill rate for any property used to be about 44.6 mils. It's now down to 31.8. The next slide, it does talk about the commercial mill rate. Total used to be in 2013 about 56.5, and now it's just under 40. One of the biggest questions that we are usually asked is, are taxes going up or down? What's our taxes going to be? So here is an example of per $100,000 of assessment, what taxes will be levied. So in 2023, municipal taxes would be $852.17. School division taxes would be $579.15 for a total of $1,431.32 per $100,000 of assessment, which equates to $47.92 less than last year. So despite the municipal taxes increasing, the school taxes decreased this year, more than the municipal increased, and therefore the net is a tax. People will see a tax, less taxes, or if their properties are about the same assessment. On average, the assessment in 2023 in Dauphin did go up 4%. A similar calculation on the commercial side. Overall, for $100,000 of assessment, there will be $107.86 less taxes levied. Again, per $100,000 of assessment, and the same assessment went up 4% in Dauphin this year. Next section talks about general fund expenditure. So these are the things that we are going to be spending taxation on and all of those other revenues on this year. The categories I'll be talking about, they are mirrored in the provincial financial plan. So the first one is general government services. And these include costs of administration, operation costs for the civic buildings, including CN Station, the Lieutenant Colonel William Barker VC Airport costs, shortfalls that's shared per capita by the RM as well. So we're going to see an increase of just over 4%. Some of the things that contribute to the increase is regular staff wage increases, as well as in-person conferences and training, which is great that we can do that in person again. Community grants and appropriations are relatively steady at about $58,000. And as I mentioned, the airport subsidy is $98,000 this year. Next category is protective services, $3.754 million spent in this category, and an increase of about 6%. RCMP saw a 6% increase. 2022 saw an 18% increase, and that was due to unionization costs. This year is a lower increase. Some of the things that are included in this category is fire, emergency measures or emergency services, building inspector, animal control, insect control, and bylaw enforcement. Next section is transportation services, and this is our public works. That includes engineering and public works administration, general maintenance of infrastructure, snow and ice removal, bridge maintenance, street lighting. Increase of 7.58% in this category. And and some of the things that we'll talk about some of the capital things that we're doing later in the presentation. Next section is environmental health, and this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, these categories mirror the provincial financial plan forms, but what is included in environmental health is garbage collection, yard waste collection, recycling, and maintenance of the waste disposal grounds. The diversion center opened in 21 and allows residents to drop off various materials such as old electronics like e-waste, used oil and paint, compact fluorescent light bulbs, mercury in thermometers and thermostats, and it allows for proper disposal free of charge. Mattresses can also be dropped off for a fee, and that helps to recycle them. By keeping recycling, yard waste, and other materials out of our landfill, it increases the life of our facility. Next couple sections. One is public health and welfare services. There's $33,749. There's no change and has seen no change for many years. And this consists entirely of one-tier social assistance payments to the province of Manitoba. Something else that we're anticipating for this category, though, in the coming year, although there is not anticipated to be any financial component to it, is a community safety and well-being plan. And we're still waiting for assistance from the province on that. It was announced April 29th, 2022 that we'll be getting assistance from them. We're expecting to hear soon. Next category, environmental development services. This includes things like planning and zoning, winter life, beautification, communities in bloom, weed control, and city events. The decrease in this category, primarily because last year we had included in there money for a development plan review, or which we were calling the city plan. So that is almost complete, and therefore most of the payments have gone through. This year we are continuing on with our Dutch elm disease tree removal, the rapid removal program again, as well as a regular program. Communities in Bloom will be having a tree giveaway program again. We'll be doing weed control and city events like parades, Remembrance Day, and after hours requirements. And that is for city staff to help out with that. Next one is economic development services, increase of over 30%. And this section, the percent increase or decrease fluctuates depending on what we've got going on in our community. So this year, in terms of economic development spending, we're looking at residential and commercial incentives, some tipping fees, rebates. There could be spec home rebates and Dauphin Business Park. So some of the examples of things that we're doing under this category is utility box wraps, housing engagement session, Dauphin 125. Dauphin will be 125 this year, so there's a party planned, as well as an immigration program. Tourism also falls under the economic development department, and things like the adventure guide and place branding program are two of their main functions. A couple examples of what they'll be doing this year is place branding merchandise and displays, updating and populating a website, and photography and videography that we can put into some of the marketing materials. Another category is the tourism accommodation tax project, and there's an adventure fund that is being set up. And the last item is the vet board appropriation in this topic. Recreation and cultural services are the next set of expenditures, increase of 7.93% overall. This includes facilities like the Watson Art Center, Fort Dauphin Museum, Dauphin Rail Museum, and the library. Includes support for the community band and the community jazz band. And most of it, 86%, is appropriation to the Dauphin Rec Services for recreation for our community. Next topic is the capital expenditures, and that's under the title Fiscal Services. That is looking to be just under $14 million this year. About $650,000 more in capital spending and reserve transfers than 2022, so more overall. But the lion's share of this large number will be taken up by $8.15 million towards a Main Street South twinning project, and that's the city's component, which includes drainage. And that will be money that we're looking to borrow, and also looking for any grants or assistance anywhere that we can find it. So we've been talking with ministers already about that. In terms of some of these capital expenditures and what will go into that almost $14 million. Roads, we're looking at doing some reconstruction, mill and overlay, and a backlaying construction. Looking at doing some sidewalks, pedestrian crossing with flashers on Buchanan. We're going to be doing a lot of work on the Buckwold Bridge. There was some design work done last year, and we're finishing that up, and then there will be some reconstruction and rehab work to the tune of about $850,000. Environmental, this is that South Main Street South, or the South and Storm drainage work. As I said, $8.15 million. And included other departments as well. So $12,000 to the IT department for some server work. Equipment replacement. There's some things that we're working on with our public works. Fire department, including new pumper truck. Be ordered. I'm not sure that we're going to get it this year, but we've got the ball rolling on that. And then we've got a couple projects to do with City Hall and the City Shop. Continuing on with culture and arts, we've got some work to the building at the Watson Art Center, including a window upgrade that is primarily done. We're just waiting to make the final payment on that. And then recreation. We've got some things going on, as I've already mentioned, some more active transportation routes, toddler playground at Meadowlark Park, some walkway lighting at Vermilion Park, as well as a pool boiler and a compressor at Dauphin Rec Services. That completes the general fund, some of the details about the general fund. Utility fund. It has to do with water and wastewater. And looking at the revenue, there's revenue and expenses of that. Looking at the revenue, we're looking at pulling in about $2.3 million for water and just over $500,000 for wastewater. And that is through utility rates, which are governed by Public Utility Board Order 103/21. Looking at some of the operating expenditures, again for the water, just under $2 million, and wastewater is about $415,000. So some of the highlights of what we'll be doing this year, increase in staff training specifically this year. We've got some new staff, and now is the time for them to take some training. We're going to be working on some pumps, the aqueduct, booster station, and Brown Reservoir. And we also are making sure to fund our lead service connection replacement incentive program. And this speaks to some incentive that we give to homeowners if the city is working on the water main in front of their house and digging up the street anyways. We give an incentive of $1,000 per connection to help offset the costs of replacing the service connection if it is a lead service connection. We're also going to be doing some water main relining, water main renewal, and wastewater main relining as well this year. And wrapping up a few projects that were 50% funded by Manitoba Water Services Board, our lift station, and our UV disinfection. We're also looking at dredging our lagoon and doing a valve replacement. I think that's a continuation of a project from last year. And then lagoon design and pre-construction, which is the beginning of our Investing in Canada Infrastructure, or ISIP, rehabilitation program. one of the things that we've talked about in the last few years, and we know that this will be changing in the coming year. This will look quite different, I believe, in 2024. But there's been a big push to reduce debt that the city has. So back at the end of the year in 2009, our general fund had about $3.2 million of debt, and the utility fund just under $1 million. And while that has been steadily decreasing for the general fund and fluctuating a bit for the utility fund, right now in the general fund we only have just under $26,000 of borrowing. Our utility fund has $731,000 of borrowing. The general fund will, as I said, incur some debt regarding that South End drainage project. We're looking at having to borrow $8.15 million or have that offsetted by grants or other funding partners. The utility fund will also be incurring some debt. We have identified with our UV disinfection project a borrowing for that, and we're just waiting for the interest rates to be reduced so that we can take that. And then for the lagoon project, our component of that ISIP fund, we will have to borrow for that. So we'll see next year what this graph might look like. And last, I'll talk a little bit about our reserve funds, or the savings accounts. So our general reserve at the end of 2023 is proposed to be just under $4 million. Specific purpose reserves, just over $4 million, for a total of just under $8 million in the general fund. Our utility fund reserve will have about $321,000 for a total reserve balance of $8.3 million. It was several years ago that Council of the Day wanted to make sure that they had 1 year's tax take in the bank, if you will, and they worked that up. I think that we had over $10 million at one point, but we're making sure to spend where we need to spend and use our savings and use these reserves where we need to. 1 year's tax take this year is about $6.86 million. And as you can see, we have 8.3, so that mandate is met. That completes my report. I don't know if there's any questions or any clarifications or comments. I will stop sharing a screen that you may or may not have seen.
Thank you, Charlotte. Any member of council have any comments regarding Charlotte's summary? Seeing nothing from any member of council, is there any staff that want to add any specific details to that presentation? Seeing none, then again, thank you very much, Charlotte. Very well done. And I think what Charlotte was saying during that presentation clearly reflects what we had been discussing as council, and the values that we have for our community and the things that we wanted to see done in this particular tax year, and keeping in mind that some of the projects were past council decisions that are being fulfilled and carried out. So again, hats off to staff for getting us through this process, in particular Scott and Mike and Charla and the rest that have contributed a significant amount to that. So I'd like to suggest that the representation for the public hearing for the Dauphin's 2023 financial plan are now complete, and that we move to the motion by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that the public hearing for the 2023 financial plan is concluded. All in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Thank you. And moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council now reconvenes to the regular council meeting. All in favor? Carried. All right, carrying on with council business. It's the consent agenda, item number 5. I'd like to suggest that we have 3 proclamations, and we'll start A proclamation being read by Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the City of Dauphin, I'd like to make the following proclamation. Whereas Fibromyalgia Awareness Day aims to raise awareness and end the stigma and discrimination that accompany this chronic illness, and whereas the Fibromyalgia Association Canada is the only national organization in Canada that supports only fibromyalgia, and whereas fibromyalgia affects about 5% of Canada's population, which represents 2 million men, women, and children of all ages and races in Canada who are afflicted with this chronic illness. Fibromyalgia often takes an average of 3 to 5 years to diagnose. And whereas there is no known cause of, prevention for, or cure of for fibromyalgia, fibromyalgia is a complex illness with symptoms varying widely and generally including debilitating chronic pain, overwhelming fatigue, and cognitive impairment. And whereas patients with fibromyalgia often have a number of coexisting conditions, which may include chronic myofascial pain, irritable bowel syndrome, temporomandibular joint disorder, environmental sensitivities, anxiety, and depression. And whereas fibromyalgia greatly reduces quality of life and can lead to social isolation, so it is important for sufferers and their families, friends, and caregivers to know that they are not alone. And whereas people with fibromyalgia may have a right to be treated with dignity and have a right to pain relief, and whereas together we will find a way to enhance the quality of lives for people affected by fibromyalgia and together find a cure. Now, therefore, we, the Council of City of Dauphin, proclaim May the 12th, 2023 as Fibromyalgia Awareness Day.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sobering. I'd like to now move to the next item, proclamation for the National Public Works Week. Deputy Mayor Loughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas public works professionals focus on facilities, services, and infrastructure that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Dauphin. And whereas these facilities, services, and infrastructure could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for citizens, civic leaders, and children in Dauphin to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest in and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in our community. And whereas the year 2023 marks the 63rd annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association, now therefore we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim May 21st to the 27th, 2023 as National Public Works Week.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Loughlin. And I'd like to have the third proclamation read, Councillor Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas May 23rd, 2023 marks 150 years since a bill passed through Parliament and received royal assent establishing the Northwest Mounted Police, which would eventually become the RCMP. And whereas since its inception, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police has continued to grow as a police service with jurisdiction in 8 provinces and 3 territories, and through its National Police Service offers resources and support to other Canadian law enforcement agencies. And whereas the scope of services and operations of the RCMP in Canada today has expanded and includes enforcement against organized crime, terrorism, illicit drugs, economic crimes, and offenses that threaten the integrity of Canada's national borders. And whereas the employees of the RCMP provide a vital service and sacrifice much for Canadian communities, now therefore we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim May 23rd, 2023 as 150th anniversary of the RCMP.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. I'd like to have all three of those accepted as recommended by the city manager and myself. The next item, outstanding water accounts added to taxes. Be it resolved that the following water accounts be added to taxes. We have two accounts. Roll number 0013200 in the amount of $28.24. The owner did not pay the final utility bill. And roll number 0165200 in the amount of $324.09. The owner did not pay the previous bill, and we could not disconnect due to a broken curb stop, for a total of $352.33, as recommended by the Director of Finance and the utility clerk. We have a number of filing items for record. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities sent out several pieces of information, the provincial responses to the 2022 AMM resolutions, the 2023 district meetings, the news bulletin from April 28th, and their recent news release regarding the provincial election priorities. There are also some member advisories of the 2023 June district resolutions and the filing deadline for the 2023 municipal plan. There's some information received from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, including a thank you for being a member, the FCM Connect of April 18th, 25th, and May the 2nd, the FCM Voice from April 24th and May 1st. We also received documentation from the Prairie Mountain Health in regards to their Health Plus newsletter from May of 2023, the Mountain View School Division News Digest of April of 24th, and an informational circular from Joe Massey, who is a candidate for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Board of Directors, former director of AMM here in Manitoba. And those are recommended by the city manager. So I'd like to suggest the motion by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that all items listed in red under item 5, the consent agenda, be approved and form part of these minutes. Questions or comments from any member of council? Call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report for the May 8th meeting, and that's from the city manager for April of 2023. Does the manager have any additional comments?
I think I'll just say that April was a very busy month, and we had a few really interesting things come through. One of them, or that I've been involved with, attending the Mayor Reeves and CAO's meeting, as well as the Spring Convention in Winnipeg. And I've highlighted the items that I participated in, or the sessions I participated in. As I mentioned before, during the presentation about the budget, Dauphin will be turning 125 this year, and there's some party planning going on. In terms of human resources, I've been working with the Canadian Union for Public Employees, as well as our Employee Relations Committee regarding some contract negotiations. And I think a highlight for me in April was the signing of the Municipal Development and Services Agreement with Pine Creek and Ebb and Flow First Nations. It was great to have people from both of those communities, as well as our mayor and council representation and staff come together, sign those agreements. As I said, we've been working on them since December 2019, but through sharing at that event, those groups have been working on this process for almost 50 or for about 15 years. They're not done yet. The Municipal Development and Services Agreement is only one step, and but we are looking forward to supporting them any way that we can to get the process completed, so that they can realize the dreams that they have for that land. Thank you.
Thank you, Charla. So,
Question?
question, Councillor Dell.
Yeah, I see that you included information about the daycare, and there's been an adjustment in the number of seats that we're anticipating. So can you just give us a little update on what's happening with that daycare?
Yeah, certainly. So originally, the information that came out, it was a 148 space daycare. I think it's closer to just over 100 spaces now. However, we are waiting, I think, for confirmation, if you will, of what the exact details are in an agreement from the city. From the province. We've heard of other communities that have gotten their agreement already, and that is where things are firm details in that. So we continue to wait.
Thank you.
Any other questions from any members of council? Seeing none, call for the question then. All those in favor of Charlotte's report? Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be resolved that council accepts as information the corporate report for this meeting from the IT manager, Justin Tokarczyk. Any questions or comments regarding the report from the IT manager? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? None. Carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. We had 94 checks in the previous run, totaling $927,490.05. We had no voided checks in the range, no voided checks in the past range, and 5 electronic payments totaling $164,282.86. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be resolved that council accepts as information the staff engineering report for May 8th from the building inspector. That's for the month of April. Any questions or comments regarding the building inspector's report? Call for the question then. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the regular meeting from the bylaw enforcement officer for the month of April. Questions or comments regarding the bylaw enforcement officer's report? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the protective services report for the meeting from the Animal Control Officer, and that's for March and April of this year. Any questions or comments regarding that report? Call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes from the following committees: the Dauphin Rec Services regular board meeting of April 26th and the Intermountain Watershed regular board meeting of March 16th. Any councillors that are members of those particular groups have any information to add to the reports as they're presented? Seeing no comment, I'd ask for the question then. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas the Manitoba Watershed District Act established 14 watershed districts as partnerships between the Manitoba government and local municipalities to protect, restore, and manage water resources through the development of programming to improve watershed health. And whereas at the Planning and Priorities Committee meeting of August 22nd, 2022, Council reviewed an Intermountain Conservation District proposal to realign the sub-district boundaries of the East Turtle River, the West Turtle River, Ochre River, and Vermilion River sub-districts to better align with natural watershed boundaries. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information an amendment to Watershed Districts Regulation 141-2019 and correspondence dated April 26th, 2023 from Kellyanne Richmond, the Acting Manager, Watershed Planning and Programs and Manager, Water Quality Management Section, Water Science and Watershed Management Branch, advising that the amendment was registered on March the 24th, 2023, thereby replacing the boundaries of the West Turtle River, East Turtle River subdistricts with the new boundaries of the Upper Turtle River and Lower Turtle River subdistricts. Questions or comments? Call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobring, whereas the City of Dauphin provides a building incentive that allows a 50% rebate for tipping fees at the city's waste disposal site for demolition waste when an existing structure is demolished and replaced with a new structure of comparable or greater value. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memo dated May 2nd from the Economic Development Manager advising that Credence Capital, care of Jerry Wheeler, property owner of 218 Buchanan Avenue, is proposing to construct 2 triplex units and is requesting a building incentive of a 50% rebate on tipping fees at the city's waste disposal site for the demolition of the existing structure at 218 Buchanan Avenue and recommending that this request be approved. Further be it resolved that Council agrees with the Economic Development Manager's recommendation and approves a 50% rebate on tipping fees at the disposal site for the demolition of said structure. Any questions or comments from any member of Council regarding this motion? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, whereas the City of Dauphin included the installation of computer-controlled lighting for City Hall in 2023 financial plan as a capital project, which would refresh and enhance the building's exterior lighting as part of an overall landscaping plan. And whereas the city released an RFP outlining expectations for the supply and installation of the lighting and received 1 joint submission from local providers John's Electric and Lee's Electrical Engineering for a total value of $68,700 plus applicable taxes, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memo dated May 8th from the Information and Technology Manager recommending that the first phase of the installation, which would include installation of the controller and lighting for the outer walls of City Hall facing Main Street and the flagpole lighting, be approved for 2023 for $34,700 plus taxes, with the second phase to be considered in the 2024 budget deliberation. Further be resolved that Council agrees with the ITC Manager's recommendation to approve the proposal for the first phase of this lighting in the amount of $34,700 plus taxes to be drawn from the City Administration Building Reserve and authorizes the contract with John's Electric and Lee's Electrical Engineering to be signed and sealed by the City Manager on behalf of the City. Questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobring, be it resolved that bylaw 04-2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to set the 2023 tax levy, be now read a first time. All those in favor? If you'd like to, certainly.
I know we have bylaws coming through all the time, and we usually talk at length before they are presented to Council for first reading. And I know that this one is something that you might not have seen before if you haven't been on Council. This is a short bylaw that's full of a lot of information, but it does talk about setting the mill rates, which is the bylaw that we need to set the mill rate for those collection of taxes.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, call for the question then. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? None? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following invitations from the Parkland Chamber of Commerce, the State of the City Address, May 9th, the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce, Parkland Economic Development Tour. Networking reception was also on May 9th in the evening, and the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, a 2023 Parkland District meeting on June the 22nd. Further be resolved that all expenses related to Council and Senior Administration attending these events be borne by the City of Dauphin. Questions or comments regarding this? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? None. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the community event listed below, and that's the Dauphin Public Library Exterior Art Project, the concept reveal and presentation, which is May 9th, 2023. Does anyone wish to speak to this? Councillor Bellemare.
Yes, so tomorrow at 6:30, and the artist will be there, and he'll have conception designs of what he's going to do. So it's, there are gender reveal parties, and this is an art reveal party. So there is cake, so public's invited to see what's happening.
Thank you. And that same artist has done some really nice work at the DRCSS, and the project that the library has is, I think, very interesting, and I think a really great addition to our community and to the library itself. So I'm looking forward to that.
Ojibwe artist, and his work
Beautiful.
is classified as like woodland art. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Bellemare. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the council's reports for the regular meeting of May the 8th. And since Councillor Sobering has moved or seconded every motion today, I'm going to start with you. How about you start the report?
Thanks, Mayor Bosiak. On April the 24th and 25th, I attended my very first budget deliberation meetings here at Council Chambers, City Hall. On the 28th, I was at a announcement from the province of Manitoba, the Sustainable Canadian Agricultural, and I believe it's the Producers Partnership, but it's for specifically announcing funding for the support for sustainable growth of agricultural and the agri-food sector. And it was at Hawk Ridge Farms, and it was actually a nice spring day. And they announced $221 million of additional funding to help the ag industry contribute to sustainability in a variety of measures. I also attended as a representative of the Dauphin and District Canavan at the Kinsman Business Expo. I also attended a subsequent Dauphin District Canavan meeting. I've also attended last Tuesday a Riverside Cemetery meeting. And just this last Friday, I attended the Rock of Ages musical put on by the Theatre Misk, starring none other than Economic Development Officer Martine, who did a fantastic job, as did all the other cast members. And it was a great evening. It was at the Watson Arts Center, and it was just a real treat to see the talents we have in our community. This ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sobering. Deputy Mayor Laughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For me, April 17th, the regular council meeting here at City Hall. On the 20th, a few days later, we had that airport board meeting regarding the budget, took place in the afternoon. And then, as Councillor Sobering mentioned, April 24th and 25th, Planning and Priorities budget deliberations, both those days. Always an exciting time having those meetings. So we had those 2 days. Also, speaking of exciting, QP negotiations and bargaining. It was fantastic. We had a lot of those meetings from April 25th to the 27th, and we actually had one today. Great to see everything kind of moving in the right direction in that area. Also, just want to mention that's it for me for my reports, but am looking forward to tomorrow, the State of the City. It's happening at the Aspen Lodge at the Parkland Rec Complex, starts at 11:45. I think that, like the play this weekend at the Watson Arts Center, is sold out. So really looking forward to the act that the mayor puts on there. And that does it for my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Councillor Stikilo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. For myself, April 17th, regular council meeting. On April 20th, I too attended the airport budget meeting. And then subsequently on the 24th and 25th, the budget meetings here at City Hall, and I just want to thank staff for their diligent and hard work on the budget. I know a lot of work goes into that, and it's a lot of information gathering, a lot of number crunching, obviously, but it is certainly appreciated when it's all boiled down into easy to understand format, and it's long meetings, but very well worth it and very appreciated. On April 26th, had a Dauphin Rec Board meeting. And then later in the afternoon, we had a sports tourism meeting. And as Councillor Sobering mentioned, I also attended the Theatre and Misc production on Friday night. Excellent job, and just kudos to everybody involved in that. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sticalo. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. A lot of my meetings have already been mentioned, the budget deliberations in April and the cemetery board meeting and QP, I think 18th, 25th, 26th, 27th, and today. So yes, we're moving right along there. On Friday, I met with the director of the regional library in preparation for our next board meeting, which is this evening. And also huge congrats to Peter Nadolny and the cast and crew of Rock and Roll Heaven that performed over the weekend. I think that's the finest musical theater event that I've ever attended in that building. That was truly awesome. Also, thank you to McDonald's, who recently held a fundraiser for Mamawi Park, and they billed it as Mick Community. So it's not Mick Happy, it's a new day, and I was speaking with the owner, Mahir Patel, and he created this new opportunity at our Dauphin McDonald's and at the Swan River McDonald's. So, you know, just neat to see someone local coming up with a new idea that supports an initiative in our community. And stay tuned, because that Toboggan Hill construction is going to be beginning this spring in that location that used to be known as the Brewer's Diamond. I'd also like to say thank you to our IT manager, Justin Tokarczuk, because I've been to sessions on cybersecurity. They're pretty unnerving, and it's just great to see that he's recently done some more studying on cybersecurity, that he's made some tweaks to our equipment to further safeguard them, and I just appreciate his diligence and attention to detail on this very important matter. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. April 17th was our last regular council meeting. On the 18th, I attended the Active Living and Transportation Committee meeting here in council chambers. 24th, 25th, I also was at the budget meetings held here at City Hall. April 25th, along with the mayor and Council Daly, we met at City Hall with Ray Campbell from the RCMP to discuss what we wanted to focus on when submitting our application for the Proceeds of Crime Fund. On the 26th, I attended the Rec Committee meeting at the Cup. The 27th, I attended the agency meeting at Aspen Lodge, facilitated by Mayor Boziak, who did a great job of that. May 3rd, I volunteered at Tim Hortons to help out with the Smile Cookie fundraiser for the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter. And on the 5th, I volunteered with Councillor Daly at McDonald's to help out with the Mick Community Week, raising money for Mamawi Park. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Daly.
Thank you. I also attended the April 17th regular council meeting. The following day, I had a prep meeting for the agency meeting that we had later on. I had a short update meeting with Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal Corporation Executive Director, just to sort of catch up on a few things. I also attended the Kinsman Business Expo on both days on the weekend, just taking it in and chatting with lots of folks there. On the 24th, I met with the CMHA manager, Angie Smith, just to talk about some social issues and how they fit into our agency planning meeting for homelessness, addiction, and those things that we're working on. Worked with Justice Chief of Staff a little bit on a project that we had coming up. Attended the budget deliberation meetings on 24th, 25th, and also the Proceeds of Crime meeting with Councillor Ray and Mayor Boziak. The following day, I furthered that a little bit with another communication with Chief of Staff of the Justice to move that proposal forward. On April 27th, we had the agency meeting, which is hosted by Mayor Boziak at Aspen Lodge, and it was probably the best meeting we've had in a very long time as far as getting an actual to-do list and task list prepared for us to move forward. I met with, on May 1st, we met with the DNRC presentation on pod housing. That was very interesting. And we had Drayton Valley, City of Drayton Valley, Alberta come in on Teams, which unfortunately now they've been evacuated from their community. So, Amanda Novak has advised that she now understands why she wasn't emailing her back. She was trying to follow up from the meeting and couldn't figure it out. Then Councillor Ray said, we spent some time at McDonald's working for the Malmaway Park thing, and I also attended the matinee performance on Sunday for Rock and Roll Heaven, and it was truly fabulous. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. And just I'd just like to again echo what most of the councillors have said about all the good things that are going on in our community. I think there's really a lot of energy and excitement, and I'm just looking forward to spring. And as things warm up, it looks like we've got a great spring summer in front of us. So with that, I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? None. Carried. And moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, be resolved that council meeting be recessed at 6:04 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.